Hello, soul family. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. So today I want to talk about signs of psychic mediumship. What made me want to make this video is because I keep seeing the word medium. It's been showing up a lot. I've been doing some research, some numerology research, because I plan to make some life path number videos. And even with that research and certain life path numbers, I'm running across the word medium quite a bit. And then I was watching a show, and then there was a medium on the show, and I'm like, okay, this must be a sign that I should do some research and share some information about psychic mediumship. Now, I've made several videos about spiritual awakening signs, and I realized that I've shared my signs, my spiritual awakening signs, and a lot of those signs have included psychic mediumship signs. And that's because when we go through a spiritual awakening, our psychic senses do grow when we go through an awakening. Everybody's psychic to some degree, but not everyone who's psychic is a medium. Now, with my spiritual awakening, of course, I felt all of the common signs of the feelings of bliss and connected to everything, and just becoming conscious of who I am and what my life here is on earth and stuff like that. And those are the classic signs of a spiritual awakening, but it came right along with the out-of-body experiences, hearing voices, seeing faces, astral projection, and all of this type of stuff. So I kind of like lumped it all in as spiritual awakening signs, when it's kind of like a little more than just spiritual awakening signs. So I decided to do some research, and of course I always learn more all the time. And so in this video, I'm going to share signs that you may be on your way to psychic mediumship. So let's get into it. Number one, and this I actually shared as one of the signs that you are a starseed, and it still makes sense because many starseeds are psychic and mediums. So it makes sense. But it starts with childhood. Knowing that there's something different about you. And I don't mean that you feel like you're special or anything, because you probably don't feel special at all. You feel like maybe like a weirdo. You just don't feel like everyone else. But knowing that there is something different about you. The whole imaginary friend thing. I definitely had imaginary friends when I was a kid. And what happens is, when you're a kid and you have imaginary friends, you probably don't want anybody to know that, because then they'll call you a weirdo. But if you don't hear a voice talking back to you, then you don't think that you're talking to anybody. You think you're just talking to yourself, and you're just playing like you have imaginary friends. But it's so subtle that sometimes your thoughts are the voice of spirit. So that's a sign that you may be a medium, because you're already communicating with spirit. Going into the teenage years, the things that you're interested in, the things that you like to do. I didn't grow up with my father or anyone I was around that was interested in tarot cards or psychics or anything like that, but I was very drawn to that. Me and my brother, we were just talking about this and laughing last week, because he was reminding me of me running up my dad's phone bill, calling the psychic hotline and getting slapped in my head, okay? And so we laughed about that. But tarot cards, I was so interested in tarot readings, but I wouldn't buy any cards because then I would have to hide it. I didn't want anybody to know that. I remember even mentioning it or asking someone, like a friend or something, about tarot cards or something, just to see what they would think. And they would sometimes just be like, that's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. So it wasn't something that I could practice freely or play around with freely. So I would like go online and do little tarot card readings for myself on like a website or something like that. But being drawn to, interested in those things, knowing there's something different about you, and having imaginary friends and all that, that is you communicating with spirit, and that's a sign that you may be a medium. Number two, How do you feel about the darkness? Are you afraid of the dark? And I'm not talking about when you're a kid. Of course, when we were a little kid, we maybe watch a scary movie and then we now we're scared of the dark. We think something's in our closet or something's under the bed. But as we get older, we learn that that was a movie and there's really nothing to be afraid of. But still, if you're like me, you feel kind of strange in the dark. If the dark makes you feel weird, or sometimes you feel like there's something there, or you see something at the side of your eye and it's really nothing there, you just sense something. In the dark, there's no distractions. Like when in the light you see, everything around you and there's nothing distracting you. But in the dark and the silence, it gives you an opportunity to connect more with other worlds. So if you feel kind of strange in the dark, kind of eerie, that's a sign that you may be a medium, because you may feel the presence of spirit. As well as having vivid dreams and vivid nightmares. Now, I don't even remember my dreams. And my husband always tells me when we wake up, he's like, "What were you dreaming about?" And I'm like, "I don't remember any dream." He heard me talking, saying something, or moving around in my dream. I swear I do not remember my dreams. When I started going through an awakening, I actually remembered dreams that I had when I was a kid, which was really like, it just blew me away. It's like, how did I remember that? I totally forgot about that all these years of my life. I remember as a kid having a vivid dream about a snake chasing me, and this was like, I just swore it felt so real, and it just came back to me. I remembered it. And it's so funny that I was talking to my brother last week, because he probably doesn't even remember this, but he was the one who ran across the hall when I had this dream. The snake was chasing me up the stairs, and I ran to my room to shut the door, and then the snake was pushing the door, and me and the snake was fighting with the door, and then the snake shot from underneath the door, and I woke up like how they do in movies, like sat up like that. And then when I realized I was dreaming, I laid down and covered because I was embarrassed that I just woke up screaming like that. And my brother, I remember him running across the hall, and I saw him like peeking out of the blanket. I saw him look in the room like, "What's going on?" And then he was like, "Oh well," and walked away. But I remember that dream, and it was so vivid, and it was so real, and it just, I remember that. Also, my sister even reminded me of me getting sick or something. I don't know if I had a cold or something, and I was hallucinating, pointing in the corner like, look at that girl, look at that girl. And I scared the crap out of my sister. So a lot of little interesting things happen to us in childhood, but even it's connected to now. So having vivid dreams, vivid nightmares, and having an eerie feeling in the dark, that's a sign that you may be a medium. Number 3, feeling very connected to people who have passed away. So I definitely feel connected to my father, and I feel like I've communicated with him as well as my best friend Alex, who actually visited me on my birthday in 2019, and I know it was him. He was like the big birthday person, and for me, I felt it. It was so overwhelming. I was boo-hoo crying, but I know it was him, and it I miss him so much that it just makes me want to cry. That was my friend, someone who appreciated and loved everything about me. Love you, Alex. You're probably here somewhere. Anyway, feeling connected to people who have passed away. So I have a lot of people, elders, who are no longer here. My mom, like I said, she passed away when I was 2. My dad passed away in 2007, so I was in my late 20s at the time. But even going back, my mother's father, I don't even remember, I don't think I ever met him. And all I know is he was Irish. And then there's my mother's mother, my grandmother on her side. I remember her, spent time with her as a kid. And the last time I saw her, I had to be about 3 or 4 before leaving from Trinidad and coming back to Miami. And she passed away. I was still a kid when she passed away. As well as on my father's side. Now, his father, I don't really remember. I don't know if I even met him. He may have died when my father was younger, so I don't think so. And then there's my father's mother, who I remember, and still, same with her. The last time I saw her, I was about 3 or 4 before leaving Trinidad. So I have no parents, no grandparents, and I truly believe that they were always there. That's probably why I feel like I feel like I have been very protected, because I haven't had any of, some of the darker experiences that people go through. But I do feel like there's a lot of people that have passed that have been a part of my life as I was youthful and as I was growing up. So feeling connected, strongly connected to people who are not with you anymore here in the physical form, that's a sign that you may be a medium as well. Number 4, waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. So I've seen in lots of places that between 2 and 4, that time is when we are most relaxed, in a meditative state, and we can communicate with spirit easier, that they can communicate with us easier. There are less distractions, less energy from people. I remember going through my awakening in the beginning and waking up at 2:22. Now, it really freaked me out, because I would see 22 and 2:22 all the time. That's like the main number for me. And so waking up and looking at the time and seeing 2:22, I was just like, who's there? That was like, it just like, oh my, like, what are the odds? That was just so like, that was strange. It was just, it definitely, I know it meant something. And then I remember sharing with you all, I went to the hospital in the middle of the night one time. I had shared this on one of my videos. I am allergic to black hair dye for whatever reason. You don't even want to know what it does to me. But I found some henna, and it's like a powder and water. So I thought this would be something really, it wouldn't cause any, it doesn't have the chemicals of a dye. So, it'll be fine. And I used that, went to bed, and woke up with my head burning. So it was like, okay, it's time to go to the hospital right now, because I'm not about to wait to see what happens in the morning, which will not be good. So I went to the hospital, and this experience was really interesting. It's probably about 3 in the morning when I left the house and went to the hospital. It wasn't very far away from home. But when I got there, I wasn't paying attention to the time I got there or anything. They took me to the room to wait for the doctor or nurse or whoever is going to come. And when I looked at this screen up there, I realized my check-in time was 3:33. And then I'm like, what? So I'm sitting there, but I felt so at peace. I felt happy. And it was just a very eerie feeling. And I know that there was someone around me at that time. So waking up between 2 and 4 and having these experiences between that time, that's a sign that you may be a medium, because spirit communicates with us better with less distractions at this kind of calm time of night. I remember seeing something that said it's like if you get up and leave your house to go drive somewhere at 2 in the morning, there's no traffic, it's an easy ride. That's kind of like how spirit communicates with us at very easily at that very calm time of night. Number 5, knowing who people really are. Like, you can have someone that is talking to you and they can compliment you, they could be saying something nice to you, but their energy that you feel, it doesn't match their words. So you kind of just know that this isn't genuine. So just knowing who people are and sensing who they really are, despite of what they're saying to you, that is a sign that you're a medium, because you are communicating with the spirit of people who are living, just like people who have passed away. Number 6, feeling like you are connected to and can communicate with animals and plants. I feel a very strong connection to hawks, that bird. I remember more than 2 occasions, I thought it was a hawk that I took a picture of it. I shared it in that community post. And I think it was a falcon though. It wasn't a hawk. but it let me get pretty close to it and take a picture of it. And then there's another time that happened. There was a hawk on our fence in the yard, and it let me get close to it. I got pretty close, like just a few feet from it, and took a picture of it. I just found it really interesting that it let me get that close. But for some reason, really feel drawn to that bird, and maybe at some point I'll figure out what that's all about. But I really feel attracted to and drawn to hawks and falcons. Plants. What I will say is I love that tree. I don't know why. I love this tree. There's plenty of places to record out here, but I'm really drawn to this tree. I just like it. Somebody told me that this tree is called the tree of immortality, which is very interesting, but I definitely feel a connection to that tree. I really like it for some reason. And last but not least, number 7, third eye activity. If you're feeling pressure, tingling, itching, like something sitting on your head right there, that is a sign of your psychic gifts growing. That's a sign of growing mediumship. This has been happening to me ever since this awakening started, for years, and like every day pretty much I feel something going on here. So that is a clear sign of your psychic awareness. The third eye activity, that is your psychic gifts growing. Now, of course, there are obvious signs like hearing voices, seeing orbs or spirits, so you don't need anybody to tell you you're a medium if you're experiencing that. Even if the voices aren't clear and it kind of sounds like mumbling and you can't hear it clearly, that is still a sign of growing mediumship. Sometimes we have to go through multiple awakenings before we're totally opened up, right? We have to kind of like accept a lot of things about ourselves before that gift can really, take shape. So those are clear signs of mediumship, growing mediumship. Now, I want to say before I end the video, the lower vibrational entities or dark entities, people have told me that they've experienced these type of things, and they all seem very fearful and afraid, like it's a scary experience, like the sleep paralysis and stuff. My sister just a couple of weeks ago told me about this. She said it was like something was holding her, like she was awake but couldn't get up. And it was like something was holding her down, and she said that she was in the bed kind of like saying help, help, while she was kind of asleep. And my nephew came and like opened the door, like what's going on, and then it just lifted. Listen, thank you that I've never experienced anything. Thank you to the universe, thank you to my spirit, I thank you. Okay, I don't want to experience that, but for the people who have experienced stuff like this and they feel like they have the presence of darker, lower vibrational entities around them, here's what I believe. And this is, I can only speak intuitively about what I feel about that. It doesn't have to do with me because I don't have that experience. But just from the, like, for example, I have a friend in India who would call me when she would feel like the presence of something, some kind of darker, lower vibrational energy. And I would kind of tell him to go away. There is a snake, y'all. A black snake. Ain't that something? I'm talking about lower vibration. Alrighty then. Okay. I would tell her, say, go away and leave me alone. Like, here's the thing. You know how you dismiss people in the physical world when you feel like they insult your soul and you're like, okay, you stay over there? Do the same thing with that type of energy. I truly believe that you can. You are more powerful than them, okay? So don't, listen, even though I'm a little kind of a scaredy cat sometimes, I'm a little fearful, I do know that fear is an illusion. Fear is an illusion. And even though I'm a little scary, one thing I will not allow myself to do is be bullied. And that goes for physical and spirit. I'm not being bullied by anybody. So my immediate thought would be, get out of here and be stern. That is what I would do if I ever experienced that. Oh my God, look at this snake. Wish I could turn the camera around and show you. Hey, Mr. Snake. I think that's enough. So as I was saying, if you experience these lower vibrational type of energies or beings, you are more powerful than they are. Fear is an illusion. Tell them to go away. I truly believe that that will work, and that's definitely what I will attempt if it ever happens. But let's just hope and pray that it never does, because I'm just not interested in that. Okay? All right, so that's it for this video, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some answers. And I'm about to get out of here before that snake decides to come over in this area. So I'll see you all next time. Peace and blessings. I love you all.